Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here. Today's another edition of Who's Telling the Truth? And let's see, today is the 17th, February 17th. And once again, you guys are going to be going, Rich, where have you been? What's going on? Well, fellas, it's the weather. We're supposed to get another snowstorm tonight. It's gotten to the point where my driveway keeps getting smaller and smaller. And I tell you, between the weather and, the studio was closed and I've had some health issues. And the good news is, I have Obamacare, so I went and got checked out. That's the good news. The bad news is, I went and I had a stress test done, and I didn't do so good. Hey, I'm 61 years old. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, and I thought I had what's called GERD, the gastroesophageal reflux disease. And I just thought I needed more medicine or something. But it turns out I got some blockages, so, we always surround ourselves with questions here, and you think that if anybody was gonna ask some questions, it was me with the doctor. And guys, I flunked. I failed. And I didn't, I was so happy to hear that I didn't need an operation and didn't need stents right as of now, and that we were going to try to treat it pharmaceutically, medically, through medicine. But so I thought this was my big chance for marijuana. Now, so the doctor said he's going to put me on Lipitor. And he's going to put me on a medicine to bring down my cholesterol. So I got to stop eating donuts, and that don't make me a happy camper. So, but anyway, so between the medical issues and the weather, and that's what tonight's show is really going to be on Bill Nye. But Bill Nye had a debate with Ken Ham. And I tell you, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. And do yourself a favor, for logic and reason, go and watch the debate. Yeah. And I tell you, you'll be, when you see the difference between a fundamentalist and between a scientist, you'll say, I just can't believe that I used to, that I never questioned anything. So anyway, tonight, I tell you, I haven't had my chance to give Fox News the old BATTA-BING. I mean, and what the stuff that I've been hearing, and I mean, they're becoming more emboldened as they go along. Oh, and I got some news, some really big news. Michael Mann, who used to work for NASA, who actually left NASA to work on climate change and clearing his name, there you go, beautiful, John. He's the guy that came up with what's called the hockey stick. This is Dr. Michael Mann. I think he's a professor. He is now suing, and I tell you guys, I am ecstatic over this, because this is the way you do it. When you get done with the logic and the reason, and these people will not listen to fact and figures, what you do is you go after their pocketbook. And I tell you, Michael Mann has gotten such a case that it could be, there is a good possibility that the National Review magazine will fold because of the amount of financial damages that can be brought by Dr. Mann. And I tell you, I couldn't be any happier. Oh, and some other good news. Do you remember the guy that came out, James O'Keefe, the guy that got dressed up as a pimp and he went up to expose Acorn, he's being sued too. Bada-bing! Hey, you know what? This is the way to teach them a lesson. You know, you hit them where it hurts. And, you know, they've become so emboldened on Fox News. I mean, it gets to the point where they try to out-stupid each other. And I tell you, if you ever want to have fun, go on to Hannity and watch Hannity when he's got a room full of conservative pundits that just can't wait to out-scream each other. Well, redistribution of wealth. Oh, it's global wealth. And louder and more, and it's just unbelievable. And now it's all going to come. It's all going to come to a head. And this guy, the guy that he's suing is. I better get this right. Now I have a feeling I'm going to screw it up. The guy that he's suing is Mark Stern, and he's like a radio talk show guy. And they're just brutal. I mean, these guys, and see, I didn't do my homework here, guys, but like I said, you know, all of a sudden I got 4 houses. Me and my son were killing ourselves to try to get, I had to work today when normally I do the show, but no excuses, no excuses. I mean, we're gonna try to show you some good stuff, because tonight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you the top 5 times that guests on Fox TV have debunked Fox TV while on Fox TV. The bitch slapping ain't gonna stop tonight, I tell you. Hey, it's been 3 weeks, guys, so they owe me. And then we're gonna show you a little thank you from Fox News. And then we're going to show you what happens when you point out right-wing lies. We're going to have fun tonight, guys. And then we're going to have a little ditty from our buddy Glenn Beck, and we're going to show you how deceptive and deceitful he could try to be. And then we're going to get into the meat of the matter. We're going to show you Bill Nye with Bill Maher. They let off the Bill Maher show, and I tell you, you know, it's a dynamite little conversation. You'll really appreciate it. And then we're going to go on to showing. You know, they asked Bill Nye. You know, when it comes to creationism and you know, virtually anything, they said to him, you know, what would change your mind? And Ken Ham said, nothing. The Word of God, the Bible tells me everything. Nothing can change what God's Word. Bill Nye looked into the camera and he said, simple. What'll get me to change my mind? Evidence. Evidence. Plain and simple. You show me the evidence, I'm on board. I'm right behind you. But don't give me some fairy tale. And don't tell me about some invisible friend that you got that's going to help you out. Because I ain't buying it anymore. And I think everybody here should start to ask some questions and say, hey, show me the evidence. Where's the proof? You know, because you tell me something? Nah, we ain't buying it. And we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight with that. And then we're going to show you the after debate, and we're going to show you how more or less the creationists are also, you know, they're climate deniers. And we're going to show you the relationship there in the polar vortex. And, you know, we have a local radio station, WLAD, and I listen to Dave Rinelli in the morning. Dave! It's your buddy Rich that likes to call up and give you the old bada-bing. The guy that you threw out of your office when you opened, remember? The guy that you couldn't look in the eye, remember me? Yeah, well, I called him last week, And we started talking, and I tell you, just like every conservative, every time you raise a question, what's the first thing out of their mouth? Benghazi! Benghazi! Obamacare! That's it, they're like program robots. And I tell you, so I gave him the old double reverse BATTA-BING, and he deserves it. And the thing, and guys, when you start, and he's one of these people that become more empowered. And if you don't put them in their place, and if you don't say, hey Dave, I heard you say that global warming isn't happening, and that climate change isn't real. You know, do you have any evidence to prove what you're saying? What are your sources for your information? Guys, you ask anybody that, you shut them right up because they don't have any information. And when they finally have to look it up and they start to realize, they go, wow, I never, yeah, you've been duped, you've been hosed. You know, welcome to the real world. Yeah, the real world of facts and figures. All right, now, let's have some fun. Let's start the slapping with the first clip, and this is the 5 things, the 5 times a Fox guest debunks Fox on Fox. John, hit it.
The 12th graders said that they smoked marijuana recently. Today, that number is down to 22%.
Not the number I just gave.
Well, your number is wrong.
No,
your number is wrong.
Take it up with the National Institutes of Health, all right?
Look,
They're the one that put it out.
I am a council member on the National Institute of Health. Your number is wrong. I'm telling you, it's 22%.
Well, this is an interesting book. Now, I want to clarify, you're a Muslim, so why did you write a book about the founder of Christianity?
Well, to be clear, I am a scholar of religions with 4 degrees, including one in the New Testament and fluency in Biblical Greek, who has been studying the origins of Christianity for 2 decades, who also just happens to be a Muslim. So it's not that I'm just some Muslim writing about Jesus. I am an expert with a PhD in the history of religions. But I have been obsessed with Jesus.
Though, it still begs the question, why would you be interested in the founder of Christianity?
Because it's my job as an academic. I am a professor of religion, including the New Testament. That's what I do for a living, actually.
I want to see a Republican Party that rather than trying to make it more difficult to vote and restricting the number of days and hours you can vote, a Republican Party that says, we want everybody to vote and we're going to give you a reason to vote for us.
All right, but I don't know if asking for an ID is trying to restrict the vote. I mean, I'm sorry. You should be able to prove who you are before you cast a ballot.
No, you should be able to prove who you are when you register to vote. And when you make the proper registration, identify yourself, you shouldn't have to go to some higher level, which is going to restrict some.
Fraud is committed. And I mean, Boston and Chicago, you register and then you show up and it's not you.
I have not seen any study that says fraud is a problem of such significance that these kinds of procedures were in place.
Does it go, anywhere close to the climate change debate that's underway here on Earth? I mean, if the moon had erupting volcanoes a few years ago, well, a few million years ago, however you want to put it, it's not like we've been up there burning fossil fuels.
No, volcanoes are not connected to the burning of fossil fuels. They're connected to mining. But the big thing for us on my side of this thing is the science is true. And so when you discover the people who got really involved in climate change got involved in it often by studying Venus, the planet Venus. So the physics, the science that happens on Venus is the same as the science that happens on the Earth. The science that happens on the moon, in this case the geology, the study of rocks that happens on the moon, is the same science that happens on the Earth. So when you say to yourself, well, I'm going to ignore all the evidence of climate change, you're saying, I'm going to ignore the best ideas anybody's ever had. That's science.
When you have